There are 9 Hills criteria: strength of association, consistency, specificity, temporal relationship, dose response relationship, experimental evidence, biological plausibility, coherence, and analogy. If taking paracetamol by a pregnant mother is our exposure of interest and development of autism among children is our outcome of interest, then if we find any association, in order to establish causality from that, we need to think about how strong was the association. Think about the odds ratio, risk ratio. Was it 2? Was it 3? Was it 1.1? Was it 5? We need to think about consistency. Did we find similar associations in different studies from different settings? These days, we don't talk about specificity because this is no longer one-to-one relationship. It is multifactorial. Autism can happen from many different exposures. Temporality. In this case, yes, we can tell that yes, the consumption of paracetamol or acetaminophen happened during pregnancy, which was before the baby was born, and the, the baby developed or child developed autism over the time. Dose response. Was there an increasing occurrence of autism depending on how much paracetamol or acetaminophen was consumed during pregnancy? Was there any experiment that happened which tested this exposure and this outcome by introducing this exposure to some people and comparing with others who did not have this exposure? Or if the removed consumption of paracetamol or acetaminophen during pregnancy, did we see any changes in the occurrence of autism over the time? That is experimental evidence. Now, can we explain this association, if there is any, from any study found? Can we explain this biologically? Like what was happening in the body? What chemical changes happened that resulted in this neurodevelopmental disorder? Coherence. Did this finding support the previous knowledge on this? An analogy. Can we compare the association between these two with something similar, maybe another drug and another neurodevelopmental disorder? So if we want to apply Hill's criteria to establish causality for an association that we found between an exposure and outcome, we'll have to think about all this. I use this example of paracetamol and autism, but this is very controversial. The directive that was made by the President of the United States was very premature, and this was a very poor example of evidence-based practice and policy that has just occurred. Thanks for listening.